SpaceX and OpenAI are really hot topics right now. Today in this video, we're going to be discussing if you should be investing in these two companies or not. So make sure you smash the like button because it really helps grow the channel larger. So let's begin first of all with an important graph that I wanted to show you right here. And actually a table that I wanted to show you right here. So this is between 1992 and 2018, 1992 to 2000. 2001 and then until 2018, and you compare the IPO companies within the first year of IPO after they go public as compared to the Russell 3000 and the Russell 2000. Now, as you can see right here, overall the IPO's returns is less as compared to the Russell 3000 or even the Russell 2000. This really shows you that over time, over the last at least 30 to 40 years, as you can see right here, really those companies that have gone IPO overall on average, they are doing less as compared to those companies that are listed on the Russell 2000 or the Russell 3000. Now, this year is really critical. This 2026, guys, is really important. We're going to potentially be seeing two of the largest IPOs or international public offering ever worldwide. So this is SpaceX and OpenAI. Now, we all know SpaceX with the company from Elon Musk, and OpenAI, the mother company of ChatGPT. So those two companies could possibly go public in 2026. Now, should you as an investor be really potentially investing in those two companies? Well, just the bottom line is, as you can see right here, overall, those companies that really get public, overall, their annualized returns over the long term is often lower as compared to the Russell 3000 and the Russell 2000. Now, if we also compare that to one of the other kind of valuations and one of the other metrics that was published as well, we can see that in research in Journal of Finance that they have really found that the average return for newly public companies is around 5% as compared to an average of 12%. So you can see that you're kind of losing. It's not really losing, but you're kind of not making profit with 7% as which is overall more balanced, less unstable, kind of more on the way that you can keep your money and forget about it, as compared to an IPO company that really things can sway and swing very quickly. So the idea is we can see these different researches. So this one, for example, right here, over the past 30 years, we can see research from the Journal of Finance. We can see all those different researches showing you that in reality, what is really happening is those companies that go IPO, they have lower returns as compared to the ones that are already on the market. So should you be investing in, and does that really apply to SpaceX and OpenAI? Well, the answer is nobody really knows. However, the idea is caution has to be made. IPO investing has generally been underwhelming, consistently underperforming the broader market over time. This is really a critical point that you have to keep in mind. So whenever you're investing in an IPO, there is a larger risk as compared to investing in those more stable indexes. Although I like to pick maybe from time to time certain IPOs. However, overall, those IPOs have really proven to be kind of a less success as compared to an average stock market. Now, if we see this other data right here, so this is the Renaissance IPO ETF. Now, there is an ETF that is really kind of made for those coming up from the US, and there is an international ETF. As you can see right here, for example, you can see from coming up 41% coming from China, 25% coming from Japan, Indonesia 2%, Spain, Turkey, Poland, and Sweden. All those different countries, you can see they kind of make up this international Renaissance IPO ETF. You also have a US local-based Renaissance IPO ETF, but it is not international. Now, as you can see here, you have 22% for the sector, 20% for the industrials, consumer staples, 16%. As you can see, sector breakdown right here. So this is one of the things that I wanted to show you guys right here. As you can see, the returns for those two ETFs Now, this is for the Renaissance that is mainly in the United States. As you can see, this is from 2014. So over the last 15 years, as you can see, almost all of that 15 years, except for 2021 when IPOs were going just right and left. Everybody was going right and left with IPOs, and all the companies and all the stock market was just booming and going up. However, as you can see over the long term, this color right here is the Renaissance ETF, the color right here, and this is the as compared to the S&P 500 right there. So S&P 500 over the long term has really always outperformed the Renaissance IPO ETF, which is up by 127% as compared to up 343%. Now, only in 2021, as I said, because really IPOs were going right and left. However, overall, as you can see, it's always been the S&P 500 is way better as compared to investing in these Renaissance IPO companies. Now, if we compare that to the Renaissance International IPO ETF fund performance, you can see the same story is really playing out, although that is outside of the United States. Now, here, as you can see, again, in 2021, the Renaissance IPO ETF has outperformed, although overall since 2015, all the way into 2026, again, 15 years, or sorry, 10, 11 years, as you can see, the S&P 500 or the MSCI ACWI ex United States, so basically those outside the United States, have really outperformed those companies, those Renaissance IPO companies that are coming internationally. So what I wanted to tell you overall, guys, you should be really worried. Or not worried, I would say you really should be cautious before you invest in any company that have gone IPO'd recently, that have gone public recently, because the idea is on the long term, over the last 10, 20, even 30 years, it's been proven that over time, those companies that go recently IPO have actually underperformed the S&P 500 or the Nasdaq. All right. So the thing that I wanted to tell you is to focus on what really Warren Buffett right here really tells us to do. So the idea is, as we all know, Warren Buffett has really outperformed the stock market over the past 50 years. So as you can see right here, I will be zooming. This is Warren Buffett from 1964 all the way into 2016. So that's more than 50 years of performance. As you can see, Berkshire Hathaway, which is basically Warren Buffett and his associates, have really outperformed the S&P 500 by a very, very large margin, as you can see right there. Okay. So what is what are the things what is the secret that really Warren Buffett and his co-workers really do to outperform the S&P 500? Well, one of the important things is that you have to really focus on the business rather than the share price. So you have to think of the business. You're owning the business when you're investing in that company. So basically, when you're owning any business, you have to kind of, do the research on that business, see how that business is really performing, its financials, the management's perspective, what they think is what their plan is for the company, their products, their services, their reputation within the market, etc. So when investing, think like a business owner. Do you truly understand the company and whether you would want to own it outright, rather than just, going and saying, SpaceX, I should invest in SpaceX. Elon Musk runs that company. Well, maybe it will be successful because Elon Musk is running that company. However, you should be thinking as a business owner. If in reality you go and pay 10,000 to I don't know, SpaceX to kind of own a specific part of that, would you do that? So just think of it in this way, rather than just thinking of, I'm just buying this stock and then selling it at another time. And then you also have to outsmart the market. Is really rare. You have to know that, as it can be unpredictable and often surprising. So focus on strong companies with solid fundamentals. So for example, they have good profit margins. They have sustained their profit margins for the last couple of years. Valuations always fluctuate, because remember that no company has no value to it. So how good the company is, no matter how good, even if it's Tesla, even if it's whatever company that you think of, even if it's Nvidia or Google or Meta, all of those companies at the end, they have a valuation. If they exceed that intrinsic value, then at that point in time, investing in those companies is not worth it. So focus on the fundamentals. Valuations always are important, and always remember to buy a great company at a fair price rather than buying a fair company at a great price. So having a great company is way more important than the price, although the price is still always critical, nevertheless. And then finally, that does not really mean that for OpenAI or SpaceX, because we have seen right here they often kind of underperform the S&P 500 or the Russell. It doesn't mean that those companies, specifically SpaceX and OpenAI, will underperform. All I'm trying to say right here is before you invest in those companies, make sure you understand their business, their moat, their competitive advantage, the management's perspective, and the valuation, and even the the financials of the company, if they have a good balance sheet or not. And then on all of that, depending on all of that, you can make your investment decision if you go with investing in those companies, or if you'd avoid investing them while they have just IPO'd. Maybe in a year or two you can reconsider at that point in time. And let me know if you guys like this type of videos, and I'll see you in our next video.